Aloha and welcome back to Live at the Legislature. I'm Jesse Broder Van Dyke, Director of Communications for the Hawaii State Senate, and my guest today is Senator Sharon Moriwaki, who represents Waikīkī, Moana, Kaka, McCully, Mo'ilili, and part of Waikīkī in the State Senate. We're modeling our lovely new homemade face masks, which we'll be wearing anytime we need to leave the house for essential services. But since we're all following the governor's order today and working from home, we'll take them off for the rest of the interview. Senator Moriwaki, I know you're working from home in Kaka. A lot of your constituents there live in apartment buildings. What have you heard from them so far dealing with this pandemic?
Well, my district is pretty broad, and it really, covers the most dense condo district, I think, in the state. So a lot of our people, with the governor's proclamation, their stay at home is not a nice house like I see you have, Jesse, where you have the outdoors. Yes. It is in your condo unit, and each of the condos are now very clearly giving instructions to people to stay at home in your unit, coming down to public spaces, wear masks, social distancing. It's difficult. We've got the lovely Kaka parks, the Waikīkī beach. So people are really pressed to stay indoors. Right. And so real instructions on caring for other people to keep the social distancing. It's so. And
you worked with Ward Village to have them keep their farmers market open because people in your community need to eat, but they made some adjustments.
Right. So the grocery stores are open, and farmers markets are open because they sell food. But the problem is the social distancing. I went 2 weeks ago at our Kaka farmers market, and it was just a conversion, like bees, in a hive. And I spoke with Tadapo there, and he talked to his farmers market organizer. And in 1 week, they were able to put the 6-foot distancing, but it still had to be worked on. So I think this coming week, they're going to have, like the mayor's car, the food to car, something like that. But everybody each week, day by day, adjusting to this new normal. And I think it's a good thing because we're more mindful about what we do and what we do for other people as well as ourselves.
Yeah, we're all adjusting, and I know you and your colleagues have been having meetings by Zoom, and we're using Microsoft Teams right now and a whole bunch of other programs trying to keep things going. This is only your second year in the Senate, and you and your colleagues had to suspend the session, which has never happened before. What's the plan going forward with the rest of the session?
Yes, I thought this year was, getting better. We were more, the revenue, the Council of Revenue's projection was good in January, February. We thought that we're going to be helping people who are, with the minimum wage, the affordable housing bills, and boom, we had the COVID-19 crisis on our front doors. So going forward, I think I have to give credit to our chair of Ways and Means. We were looking at, in February, the end of February, looking at a budget to send over to the House to work on helping the state get through the COVID-19 crisis with funding for DOH, Department of Health, Department of Defense, looking at how we can buttress ourselves. And during those meetings, we asked the administration for their plan. We knew that Washington State had been through the crisis, and they had a handbook on how they plan for the low, moderate, and severe levels of threat and what they did. So we asked the administration for that, and through that process of feeling the administration wasn't moving fast enough, the senator and the president appointed a committee, the special committee on COVID virus, and we've been meeting since, really hearing from the community and being the voice for the community to urge and prod the administration to move faster in this period of urgency and emergency.
And so you and your 5 colleagues on this special committee on COVID-19 have been meeting, and your next meeting is tomorrow on Wednesday. The committee was one of the first organizations to call for the closing of harbors and airports to keep visitors and returning residents from bringing COVID-19 here. How is that working out?
Well, the good news is that they did. They now have a process in place, so it is moving better. The harbors are closed to passengers disembarking except for residents, and everybody has to go through medical testing and a 14-day quarantine. So harbors, at least, and the cargoes, ships can come in, unload cargo, but nobody disembarks. The airports are another matter. We thought they had thermal screening ordered, that the same process would occur for people deplaning, that it would only be residents returning, and those who were to be let off would have a place to stay, a residence, a place to stay, a hotel, and they would have a 14-day quarantine. 14-day quarantine is pretty much isolation. You don't go to the beach. You don't go out, to the wherever to visit. You stay in your room, quarantine, so that you don't infect others, and we can see whether you're positive or not. I don't think that was really happening, and it wasn't being monitored to the full extent. So we are asking again for DOT, especially the airports, to be much more careful, work with their staff, making sure that they do check every single person. Now that the National Guard has been activated, I understand, and we will hear from General Hara tomorrow as well, that the National Guard is going to also be helping with those screenings. But we have to be so careful, because we learned early on that the virus is a traveling virus. So it would come in just from people returning from Las Vegas or Washington or hot spots, or from Korea, or from China in the early days. So closing off our borders was one thing, but also the monitoring, the screening, the testing, which we were slow in starting and now is becoming more widespread, but certainly not enough, fast enough. And we really need to push in terms of keeping us as safe as possible. And it is a public health disease. It's not treating one person at a time, and that's what we're stopping, is the surge, so that we don't have so many people needing it without our resources to treat them. But we can prevent it by what we've learned from South Korea, from Taiwan, from Singapore. All of these are island countries, same idea. Shut off traveling viruses, and also social distancing, 6 feet or more away. Test yourself, wash your hands with hot water and soap, because the virus will live on surfaces. So everything is to prevent masking up that Mayor Caldwell put into place is entirely important. Not so much for you not catching it, but for you, and this is, you may be asymptomatic, you may be a carrier. It's for you caring about other people around you and in the community, so that you don't spread what you may not know you have. So all of this is all of us. A new normal is really caring for other people than yourself. Also yourself, but also others. And we're
Thank you so much, Senator. Yes.
Yeah, we're pushing that.
Yep. We all have to look out for one another. And unfortunately, we're running out of time, but I know you're also looking at the financial and economic impacts of this crisis, and you had Senator Schatz testify earlier or last week, and on our website, Hawaii Senate Majority, and on our Hawaii Senate Facebook and Twitter pages, we have links to some of the federal resources that are available for small businesses that the committee provided. So that's there. Please visit hawaiisenatemajority.com. Thank you so much, Senator Moriwaki. We'll be watching the committee's work. Again, there's another committee hearing tomorrow, and we'll be back here next week. Thank you so much, everyone.
Aloha, everybody. Care for each other. Social distance.